drizzle over parts of Munster tonight, but it will stay mainly dry everywhere else. Lows of 1 to 4 degrees in Ulster, Connacht and North Leinster, but 5 to 8 degrees elsewhere. And now you're up to date on News Talk.
Off the ball. This is News Talk.
And you're very welcome along to Tuesday Nights Off the Ball. It's Richie McCormack here with you right through until 10 p.m. tonight. Stacked show on the way. We'll be keeping tabs, of course, on everything going on in the Carabao Cup tonight. Features-wise on the show after 8 o'clock, an in-depth interview with Paddy Merrigan. He was one of Ireland's premier jump jockeys in his early 20s. His life went slightly off the rails and brought him, sadly, to the brink of suicide. He's now, at the age of 33, staged a remarkable comeback working in Gordon Elliott's yard, and we will talk to him after 8 o'clock. Also on the way tonight, Ronan O'Gara. He looks at both of the World Cup finalists, England and the Springboks, ahead of Saturday's meeting in Yokohama. We'll ask him what he made of the All Blacks' defeat as well. And we'll talk to Gary Breen in the football show on the toxicity enveloping Arsenal at the moment and the ongoing row involving Granit Xhaka and whether or not he should, according to his manager at least, apologise to the club's fans. Dancing on Ice star Kevin Kilbane will also join us later on too as we enter what could well be the final lap of Mick McCarthy interviews looking ahead to the Republic of Ireland versus Denmark in that Euro 2020 Group D qualifier, which is to come in a couple of weeks' time. 53106 if you want to get involved tonight is the number at Fact to Text, and you can tweet us as well at Off the Ball. Joined in studio by Emery Donelan for the Newsround, and also to the man they call the Senator is Ronan Mullen.
Who's there?
Everybody in the office. Yeah. Mostly behind your back.
Apparently, yeah. Well, more and more to my face, Richie, I think I'll find.
Well, that's true. Have you ever considered changing your name? Seeing as, you know, I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Office Space.
No.
Where there's a Michael Bolton in it, and he's asked, would he change his name?
Is this the gif where he's the one who sucks? Yeah, I've been sent that gif or image a lot. Whenever he says something, the other guy, he should not be named, says stuff in the media.
Big show on the way. Paddy Merrigan, his story to me was at least unfamiliar before watching the documentary, the Finney documentary on TG Carr that aired last Wednesday. The series ongoing on Wednesday nights there in TG Carr. A remarkable story. It's one of these things whereby he was such a prodigy that the fall, when it eventually came, was always going to be a big one. He was a teenager heading over to England. He was, you know, really promising jump jockey, made a name for himself over there, worked his way into being the third on the list of the conditional jump jockeys, champion jockey of the year. It was a remarkable career, and then it all went askew for him. He was brought to the brink of suicide a few years back and has managed to document his entire comeback via his blog, and he will be speaking to us about his remarkable journey, as I say, up after 8 o'clock as well. We'll also be talking to Gary Breen, the football show, as I mentioned, about the toxicity enveloping Arsenal. This has been a bizarre story ongoing since I saw it was James Ollie from the Evening Standard had tweeted like the exact details of what had happened during Arsenal's game with Crystal Palace on Sunday, that Granit Xhaka was being substituted, started to be booed, and then started giving the fingers. Well, not giving the fingers, but started shouting back at the fans and threw his jersey to the ground. And it seems like one of these drops, but it hasn't been resolved yet, which is a bit of an odd one. And It's kind of telling of the environment about Arsenal.
I never thought I'd find myself going to bat for Granit Xhaka, having seen Ireland go up against him in the last couple of months. He's a inherently dislikable character, I would decide.
Do you think?
It's just something about him. I don't like the way he carries himself. He's got this big man persona, and he doesn't really back it up on the pitch. And you hear this thing thrown around about teams where they're more than the sum of their parts, whereas with Arsenal they are a sum of their quite mediocre parts. And he's like an emblem of, for Arsenal fans, I imagine, it's just he sort of epitomises, if this is our club captain, how we got to this position. And you know, they have a little bit of previous with this. They've booed several players in recent years. I don't know, it's just it's going from bad to worse.
Are they worse than other clubs though, in terms of how they treat their players, their own players?
I don't know, it's probably just the Arsenal fan TV element of it all, and the amplification of it, and just their struggles having gone from riches to rags in quite a quick period of time, relatively speaking. I don't know. I think it's a hard road back for him now, though, isn't it?
For Xhaka?
Yeah.
I would presume that an apology of sorts, I'd say, because I don't think it's fully warranted, because the way he was booed isn't great either. But an apology of sorts, along with a statement on the lines of, we need to have a discussion about how we treat our own, because I don't know if you saw those pictures of Lucas Torreira on the sideline as well, apparently in tears at the treatment of his captain. I mean, it's quite serious stuff, really.
Yeah, and Hector Bellerin as well has come out and backed them basically, but you have to wonder about the culture around the club, because Obviously, Aaron Ramsey had the armband for a little while. He left. Koscielny effectively went on strike. He was the captain in the summer. Petr Cech, like quasi-captain as well, and he couldn't wait to get out of Arsenal. As soon as he retired, he's away playing ice hockey, and he's an ambassador for Chelsea. So I don't know what. I think it's more deep-rooted than the guy with the armband.
It's a weird one though, because you mentioned Jack is kind of emblematic of the problems that are at Arsenal. I think everybody, no matter who's listening tonight, everybody who supports any club, probably at one stage or another can point towards one player that they could never understand how they hung on as long as they did at that particular club, whether it's Liverpool, whether it's Cork City, whether it's Shamrock Rovers, whether it's, you know, Burton Albion, whomever. Like, there's always one where you're like, I can understand why they're all there.
Yeah.
But him, why?
Yeah. Well, like Ashley Young from Manchester United, he was booed regularly last season. He was the captain by default because there was just no senior players left to step up to the plate. And he's another example of, if everything was purring and United were the Manchester United of old, he probably wouldn't be anywhere near the team, let alone captain in the side. So I think every club has this issue, as you mentioned, but it's just for whatever reason Arsenal seem to be more and more to the fore in that regard.
We've had a text in 53106 saying, hi Richie, check out David Squire's take on the Arsenal crisis in The Guardian today. Any chance of ever getting Squires on the show? He's their satirical cartoonist, of course. His latest cartoon even is a play on Where's Wally called Where's Mesut? Which of course is asking where is Mesut Ozil, because he's so in and out of the side. Speaking of ins and outs of sides, Mick McCarthy, Emery named his squad today for the upcoming qualifier with Denmark and the slightly less important friendly with New Zealand. And I think a lot of people would be forgiven for not thinking this one was on the radar, but it could turn out to be quite important in terms of people getting debuts, but might also be one of the last times we hear from McCarthy as Arnold Boss.
Yeah, his 39-man squad, so this is pretty premature as of yet. It's ahead of, as you said, that 2020 qualifier against Denmark, which takes place next month, as well as the friendly against New Zealand. A win over the Danes, of course, sends them straight to next summer's finals. Caoimhin Kelleher has been included, as well as QPR defender Ryan Manning. Shane Long, Robbie Brady, David McGoldrick, Kieran Clark and James McCarthy all return. And then keeper Darren Randolph is expected to shake off that thigh injury in time to feature against Denmark specifically. McCarthy saying that he's not too worried about him for the New Zealand game. Teenagers Aaron Connolly and Troy Parrott included in the squad, and McCarthy spoke today specifically about what the injection of youth can bring to the squad.
In fact, they haven't played that much together themselves anyway at this level or at any level already. Certainly not with the 21s I watched. Adam was out on the left and Troy was playing as a 10. But it would be nice if they come through. I mean, there's a period in my first tenure in the job when I got, you know, Robbie and Duffer and Ian Hart and Big Dunner, Clatterer players came through and did really well together. It's always nice to get the young players in. I think the older players appreciate that as well when they see them coming through. They know they've done that already. They've come through whenever they did it. I think they always appreciate it. They always look after the younger ones. And it does bring a bit of youthful enthusiasm to the squad.
It's an odd one now because McCarthy, this could well be the last go-around of McCarthy interviews, and at the, well, not at the start, but a couple of months back.
Pessimistic, Richard.
Well, it is. But a couple of months back, he was along the lines of, well, these games possibly aren't the time to be blooding new players, and now we're talking about Troy Parrott and a couple others, possibly Ryan Manning being another, possibly getting international experience this late in the McCarthy era. Yeah, seems a bit of a quick turnaround for him. And
Ryan Manning, who kind of first came onto the scene with more attacking verve and has since like kind of nailed down his place as more of a defender now, which is good. Like we need options in those positions. So, but I actually think of all the young players Emery mentioned, like it's actually good to see James McCarthy back, because we actually need his dynamism back in the middle of the park if he can get back to the James McCarthy that we saw maybe in the Euros, because like you kind of saw it in the two previous games where, you know, we were kind of found lacking in that position.
We were brutal in midfield, is what we were. Like completely brutal in midfield, and it's somewhere that needs to pick up. But I guess my pessimism is born of having witnessed those two games in person.
You were just regaling me with your Tbilisi taxi trouble, so I know it was a tough trip for you, Richard.
No, it really was. Pat texts to say, in terms of players hanging around squads too long, wasn't Mark Hughes at United too long? He looked like a lad in his mid-40s by the time he left Old Trafford, and yet he still had Premier League career at Chelsea. He was at Everton. He was at Southampton, I believe, as well. He hung around. But Mark Hughes was one of those people who looked 40 from the age of about 26.
I remember watching Premier League years Mark Hughes a bit before my time, but I remember watching Premier League years playing for Chelsea.
Thanks for dropping that one.
Just saying, for Chelsea or Southampton, I think you mentioned. I was like, the man looks like he should be playing Masters football on Sky Sports 3, not like holding his own in Premier League football. You know?
Yeah, there is an era gone by of where I don't want to go into when men were men, but certainly men looked about 10 years older than their actual age, just as a matter of standard.
Yeah, it's like watching old games. Like Vinnie Jones is 3 years younger than me in this game. He looks at least 35-year-old.
Remember Vinnie Jones? Do you?
I don't. I know him from the movie industry, Richie.
Movie industry. I was once made watch a Vinnie Jones movie which involved Derek Jacobi, who's like a famous Shakespearean actor, and it's one of the worst films I've ever seen. I can't remember the name of it. It was set in London, but if anybody can remember the name of it, by all means, 53106.
Mean Machine is probably my favourite football film, I would say. Have you seen it?
Really?
Yeah, I like it.
Have you never seen Escape to Victory?
It's a low bar. I haven't, actually.
Well, I think we should have a watch-along video. We're always looking for content. So watch-along video, Escape to Victory, Ronan Mullen sitting in there going, this is the greatest movie I've ever seen.
Pele's in that, right?
Mm-hmm. Amongst others.
I think it's been referenced so much that I feel like I've seen it.
It's constantly on. It's on TCM like every 20 minutes. Like I'm fairly sure you can. Anne-Marie, have you ever seen Escape to Victory?
But aside from that, like what else is in the conversation? Bend It Like Beckham.
Yeah.
You've seen that?
Well, yeah, but I'm not saying yeah as in.
You seem very enthusiastic.
But there's very little to choose from.
There's loads. There's the Goal series.
Horrific.
There's a cabal of people out in the office who really like.
Nicole.
No, but well, yeah, he is the one who likes the Goal movies. He actually speaks, a lot about the 2 and 3. I think it is. He actually has a gradient of which ones are good, which I'd just say about. Somebody's saying Vinnie Jones is on Celebrity X Factor right now. Does that mean people should turn over and find him on X Factor right now? Please don't. We're trying to truck along with a decent show here. Could well be a big night for a certain Irish goalkeeper tomorrow night, Emery.
Yeah, Caoimhin Kelleher, it is set to be a special one for him, the 20-year-old Cork native. He'll get his second start for Liverpool, but it'll be his first at Anfield. That's as they face Arsenal in the Carabao Cup. And Liverpool assistant coach Pep Lijnders confirmed the news today.
Caoimhin is a player, is a goalkeeper who is he's on the line. He's excellent, of course, like everybody already saw. But his calmness to play out, his calmness to find a free player if we play. For his age as a goalkeeper, he's very stable. So that's what we like about him, and we see a good future for him, and we want to give him this opportunity. And you need these opportunities to grow, and that's why we give him it.
Yeah, we wish him the very best. A busy night, though, tonight in the Carabao Cup, Emery.
Yeah, Burton entertained the in-form Leicester City. Oxford United host Sunderland. There's an all-Premier League tie then of Everton and Watford, that one at Goodison Park. Crawley Town take on Colchester, who of course knocked out Spurs in the last round. And then fresh from their 9-0 thrashing to Leicester at the weekend, Southampton have a massive challenge ahead. They go to the Etihad to play the champions Manchester City, and the two sides meet again at the Etihad at the weekend in the Premier League. So Ralph Hasenhüttl has quite a tough few days ahead.
Pep Guardiola, though?
Yeah, he has. He said that he won't be underestimating their opponents, and he is expecting a response from the Saints to that thrashing.
I think the players are professionals. They are going to try to do their best. So I'm not going to judge Southampton or prepare Southampton games about result against Leicester.
Yeah, he is
one of the most condescending things I've ever heard.
You're looking at them just being beaten 9-0. I'm not going to judge them by that.
They're professionals. They're going to try their best.
Is Pep Guardiola saying that he's immediately throwing that game out and he's not using it in the video review?
Oh, I don't know. The Saints have donated, I think it's a day of their wages.
The soldiers?
To the Saints Foundation or something. So all the players.
It's the wages from the day of the game, yeah.
Can we talk about Leicester? How good were Leicester, Richie?
Leicester, I was watching this on Friday night. Leicester were fantastic. Yuri Tielemans is a fantastic midfielder.
Tough.
And he was at the centre of pretty much everything they did as well, which was great.
I love to give out about Brendan Rodgers from time to time, but he's really, since he came back to the Premier League, he's outperformed himself.
He seems like the perfect fit for that squad, because they were a decent footballing squads who possibly needed that arm around, a bit of confidence, because Klopp, well, by all accounts, is a bit of a cold fish, and there are others in there that were kind of the same. But he's somebody who'll actually get the guys on side.
And even when he's trying to be, his media persona is just...
If he just talked a little bit less, yeah.
Or more, for our point of view.
I'm willing to hear from Brendan Rodgers more.
He was like, during my time at Celtic and Liverpool, I've been up 5-0 and 6-0 in games. He just threw that in there as if, I'm used to being in these positions, but I was impressed with how my team played on and got the 9th.
He lent himself quite well to that documentary. I think he'd actually work quite well in movies, of course, football movies is being touched upon with our texters. Adrian and Caoimhin saying the greatest football movie is Green Street, and there are several exclamation marks attached to that as well. So thank you for that, Adrian.
That's fair. It's more of a social observation.
Yeah. It's an ancillary football film, is what you're saying. Somebody saying Meme Machines, Billy the Limpet is one of the greatest football film characters of all time. Danny Dyer at his Cockney best, or is that worst? Says one texter.
Danny
Dyer, yes or no?
He's exceptional in that.
Yeah,
he is very good. Yeah,
that's Danny Dyer's level, is what you're saying.
I think it's also Vinnie Jones's peak performance, I would have said.
I still think this movie with Derek Jacobi was probably better. Anyway, speaking of Xhaka-gate, Emery.
Yeah, Arsenal boss Unai Emery has said that Granit Xhaka knows he was in the wrong on Sunday. The club captain, as you were talking about earlier, swore and gestured to fans as they booed him off the pitch. That's as he was substituted in their 2-2 draw with Crystal Palace. That was a 2-2 draw where they blew a 2-0 lead. Speaking today, Emery revealed that Xhaka won't be involved in their game against Liverpool in the Carabao Cup tomorrow, but he wouldn't say yet if he'd be stripped of the captaincy or not.
It's not easy for him and for the team. He is now devastated, sad. He tried to normal with the group, but he is devastated. He knows he was wrong. He was wrong, but it's normal, like a human. You need, every player need the support.
There you go. I think Emery is potentially the biggest loser out of all this, says one texter. Players siding with Xhaka, and Emery will only lose the dressing room further if Xhaka gets stripped of the captaincy. Emery will be gone by Christmas, says that texter. One of the things we didn't get to cover, of course, it being a bank holiday weekend just gone, was the controversial nature in which Ireland, their men's side, in fact, had their Olympic dreams dashed at the weekend. Further reaction to that this morning is OTB AM this morning, Anne-Marie.
Yeah, Richie, reaction in the last 36 hours in relation to the Irish men's hockey team. They just missed out on Olympic qualification. They were in Vancouver for a 2-legged tie against Canada. They led 5-3 going into the second leg, and then in the second leg the game appeared to have been wrapped up at 2-1. The hosts had won that, but Ireland would have qualified on aggregate. A penalty stroke was given after consultation with a video umpire, but this was actually after the final whistle had blown. Canada then scored and won in sudden death. Irish goalkeeper David Hart spoke to Ger on OTB AM this morning about the loss and particularly the heartbreaking nature of it.
I'm here at breakfast this morning in my house in Utrecht with my Olympic Cup from Rio 2016. There's obviously going to be pointers and suggestions towards the games all over people's houses, and obviously guys' lives were directed towards this, and I know mine in particular, I unfortunately wasn't able to take part, so my heart goes out to those guys obviously who were playing in the match and who were up close, and I think it was literally 1 second to go away from that, and we're all devastated by it. But right now I can't really start thinking about the future because it's still so raw, and the hardest thing to accept is that I was there embracing and hugging some of my teammates who I've played with for 12 to 13 years. For those lads to have to say, yeah, thanks for the memories and thanks for the years, it's something that you would never obviously have to go through given the circumstances and how it all came about. It's just so cruel. It's just, yeah, no words can describe it right now. To be so close and yet now so far away, just can't even begin to explain it. And yeah, as I said, I put out a tweet yesterday. It was the only reason why I put a tweet out is because I couldn't actually physically express myself. I had to do so digitally over social media. So that gives an idea of the pain and kind of anguish that we're all feeling.
Yeah, and understandably emotional. David Hart there speaking about the Irish men's side. A cruel denial of a place at the Olympics. Like one of the rare Irish positive stories, aside from the couple of medals of 3 years ago in Tokyo, was that side, and a great bunch of players there were too to deal with as well. So wish them all the very best. But that clip as well from this morning's OTB AM, Emery.
Yeah, OTB AM, our sports breakfast show that's on every weekday morning from 7:30. You'll find it on offtheball.com, YouTube, Twitter and Facebook, so you can start your day with Off the Ball. See our social channels for full broadcast details.
Some wonderful whataboutery from Dermot in Galway saying if Arsenal had appointed Brendan Rodgers when they had the chance, we wouldn't be in this disgraceful situation. Emery is a joke and needs to leave, says Dermot in Galway.
Yeah, well, you see the line of continuity at Chelsea where they brought in Frank Lampard, who you put the qualifications on the table, you'd say he's more qualified than Unai Emery. But it was the culture of the club. He got it and had a specific set of tools to work with, and he's done wonders so far. It's obviously still quite early in his tenure, but Arsenal had been linked with Mikel Arteta. That was what they thought it was going to be, and then one day it was just Unai Emery was installed as favourite, got the job. It seemed like a very rushed process, and I think Arsenal have been willing to give him the benefit of the doubt, but from this juncture, it doesn't look like he's going to last.
Yeah, it's a weird situation because I don't know if you've seen them, and it's a weird way to judge them in the Europa League. They've actually been playing some fantastic stuff in that too, but it doesn't seem to be the issue that there is in the Premier League. There's some kind of mental block going on there. Regardless, we'll be talking to Arsenal a little bit later on with Gary Breen in the football show. We'll also be touching on a little bit of Chelsea, and all this week we're giving you the chance to win a spectacular prize with thanks to Virgin Media Sport. It is a trip to Stamford Bridge for Chelsea's Champions League clash with Lille on the 10th of December. You get a pair of tickets, flights and accommodation, pre-match meal and Centenary Club padded seats in line with the 18-yard line. To begin with a chance of winning, just identify our mystery voice who is refusing to be drawn on Simon Cowell's controversial decision to save the group TriStar on Celebrity X Factor.
I wouldn't try to pontificate about what he should do.
Let's go one more time.
I wouldn't try to pontificate about what he should do.
Is that 3 members of 5 Star? Is that what TriStar is? No, it would be disgraceful if they've cast aside 2 of them, particularly Stedman. Text your name and your answer, one for the teenagers there, to 53106 for 30 cents, and we'll carry out our end of week draw on Friday's show. I should also tell you that we're going live, going to be live, in fact, from the venue at the Hotel Imperial in Ronan,
the town.
Next Monday, that's Dundalk to the uninitiated. The 4th of November, we'll have Niall Quinn, Keith Andrews, Damien Delaney on the show, and hopefully some of the Dundalk side too, should they, fingers crossed.
When they?
Well, there you go, you said it, not me. Complete the treble at the weekend. The show was completely sold out, but due to demand, we freed up a few more tickets. We found a little bit of extra space in the venue, and if you want to get your hands on those tickets, go to offtheball.com/events now to get your paws on them. One last come on to town.
Come on to town.
There we go.
Jump up and down if you love the town.
Is that an actual song?
It was a chant, yeah, back in the day.
Very good. We will go from the men's hockey squad to the female one. Emery?
Yeah, Sean Dancer has announced his squad for their qualifier that's also against Canada. That takes place this coming Saturday and Sunday. A 2-legged affair as well at Energy Park in Donnybrook, and that would see them, if they win, qualify for Tokyo 2020. Catherine Mullen will captain the side, and then Shirley McKay will play for her country for the 300th time, and that makes her the most capped Irish sportswoman ever in any sport.
And very finally, a big announcement for Mount Juliet today.
Yeah, Mount Juliet in Kilkenny set to host golf's Dubai duty-free Irish Open for the first time in 25 years. Confirmed today that the Jack Nicklaus designed course will be the venue for the 2020 Rolex Series event, and that will take place between the 28th and 31st of May, so a different time of year the next year. Former winners Rory McIlroy and Shane Lowry have confirmed that they will be in the field. Rory McIlroy obviously didn't take part in Lahinch this year.
Lads, come on. Best football movie ever is Mike Bassett, England manager. Unbelievable, so it was. Up Dundalk, says Shane. Hi guys, the greatest football movie was RT's Jimmy's Winning Matches. Music, drama, tears, heartbreak, history. It had it all. Gavin, the Donegal man in Cork. Thank you for your text. Keep them coming. 53106 for 30 cents is the number a little bit later on. Paddy Merrigan and his remarkable stories after 8. But up next, Ronan O'Gara looks ahead to the World Cup final.
Off the ball on News Talk.
You lost your ticket. No problem. Can you describe it for me?
It's a suit?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's more of a jumpsuit, actually. Black leather. Well, pleather.
Right.
It's got a number of chains and rings attached to the front.
Okay.
And a face mask. With a ball gag type thing.
Don't feel like picking up your dry cleaning? The Laundry app means you can get your dry cleaning picked up and delivered anywhere in Dublin until 10 p.m. every night. Laundry. Drop the Y and add a .ie.
You know the one lasting first impression, the one that moves you, the one big performance, big attitude, the one with confidence, an eye for detail, the one with style, the one with smarts, the one seriously connected, the one to watch, the one to beat, the one with everything. The all-new BMW 1 Series, part of the 201 BMW range, available to test drive at your local BMW retailer or to explore on discoverbmw.ie.
It's our biggest price cuts ever. At Super Value, we've cut hundreds of prices in our Super Value range. like Super Value cream crackers, 200 gram, now 26 cent. Super Value sparkling water, 2 litre, now 50 cent. And Super Value straight cut chips, 1.5 kg, now 99 cent. It's got to be Super Value.
The NCT's looming again. It's your mum's birthday next Tuesday. The washing machine is definitely on its last legs. Is it too early to mention Christmas? The thing is, there's always something. Which is why it's always worth talking to our mortgage team to see how switching your mortgage to Ulster Bank could help. Talk to us today. Oh, and don't forget your mum's birthday. Ulster Bank. Help for what matters. Over 18s in Republic of Ireland residents only. Ulster Bank is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland.
Relax this evening and visit itsforwomen.ie. Great value car insurance for those on the go. Get the cover you need day or night at itsforwomen.ie.